Welcome to Kabowie, beautiful isolated rural York Peninsula, South Australia. Come with me for a walk in my fruit and vegetable garden. This is the 2nd of January 2019, double grafted. I've discovered that I don't need to put bird netting over these fruit trees. This is a double graft. Golden Delicious one side and Granny Smith the other. If I had to plant these trees again, I would put dwarf, but what I'm trying to do is keep these trees less than 7 foot in height. The birds feel insecure, or the galahs feel insecure at that height, and only a few apples are eaten. This next one's Red Delicious. As you can see, I've kept the branches horizontal. Opened up the centre, taken the centre out, and this one is no more than 6 foot high, but about 13 foot wide. It's there's only new growth inside. It's 7 years old. I do it for the same reason, to keep the birds off the trees. I've thinned the apples to about 80% of the apples I've thinned, and still quite a significant amount of apples left on this one's Granny Smith, and underneath about 5 inches of wood chip. Well, there's my 4-legged mate, Muttley. G'day, Muttley. Handsome boy. He's just been fed. The rainwater tank, I fit a pipe, a stormwater pipe, to the tap, and I feed the lemon tree, or water the lemon tree. Just recently I've given this a good prune back with the chainsaw. I want to keep the height down, and the same principle again, width rather than height. And for some reason with watering, I've got fairly good crop on this year, 2 crops a year, as you can see. And also wood chip on the base. This is a Valencia orange. About 10 or 12 years old and it's still the same height. I see this happen to numerous orange trees. They just dwarf. But it's loaded with oranges. This is my vegetable garden over the other side. And in between the vegetable garden there's a fence that I've used, that I've put up, a strong fence for a trellis for these grapes. I'm not successful with grapes, either because of the birds or mildew. At 3 different varieties. This is $1 million peach. It's very delicious, very I forgot its other name. I call them $1 million peaches. This is Asian pear. I would recommend this to anyone. It's a long-lasting fruit. It'll last on the tree for a couple of months. It's and very tasty, crunchy. Look it up on the internet, Google it up. Asian pears. Beautiful. What are these called? How would I know? I only grow them. Nectarine, that's right, nectarine. This also has 5 or 6 inches of wood chip. It's as it breaks down, it provides nutrients for the tree and fruit. As you can see, the grapevines have really benefited from the wood chip. It's just overgrown. It's just growing everywhere. It's just rapid growth. This is a Waltham. The other one's a Sultana. I don't know. Now we're entering my veggie garden. Just preparing for potatoes in here. It's 120 square metres garden. Put the walkways in and the pavers to keep the dirt off my feet when I walk inside. But if I had to do it all again, I wouldn't put in pavers. I would just have all this pathway full of wood chips. I could still do that with pavers because I can pull them up. This is crystal apple. Right now I'm preparing, and this is Lebanese cucumbers. sheep manure under this pea straw. Right now I'm preparing. So I've got to keep the back of the sun to me back. It's early morning. I have not very good. I've got to show you the being isolated rural. There's areas where there's bamboo growing. Don't know if you bamboo growing, so I'm preparing that for just preparing the bamboo to put shade cloth on here. For the days when there's consecutive days of 42, 43 degrees. It just burns everything, cooks the tomatoes in their skin. Right behind me there's a tomato trellis. I put the bamboo up and put the shade cloth in this morning. Very essential, 50% shade cloth. I'm not getting very good vision on my screen because of the early morning sun. Mighty red tomatoes. So I grow because they're quite abundant growing and very tasty. Some years I would get a couple of 100 pounds of tomatoes off of this for 8 or 9 tomato plants. I've just started eating them. They're at least 5 foot tall, 5, 6 foot tall. Here's staggering the tomatoes. I planted another lot about 4 or 5 weeks after the others. So rainbow silver beet or spinach is it? Put about 2 or 3 weeks ago. That'll be in full growth by the time winter comes. These are climbing beans. Again, bamboo trellis. About 4 or 5 weeks ago planted. The seed just come out from ground from last year. So these have just begun to climb. These will easily grow 9 feet or so. Very tasty long beans, climbing beans. And not a full garden this year because I've left this this bed empty. It's got 4 or 5 inches of wood chip and pea straw And as I said, I staggered the growing, put some more tomatoes in 5 or 6 weeks after the first lot. This is one that's already got tomatoes on them. Don't know if you can see in there. No, maybe not. And I go to the op shop, get bed sheets, tear them up, use them against these poles to keep them upright. Works well. Recycle them the next year. These are Lebanese cucumbers. I'm eating about 6 cucumbers a day. Diced pepper and mayonnaise. And as we're finishing up, use a Italian clean peach on the footpath. That too's been thinned down to more than 50% of the fruit thinned off. Very tasty. It's clean stone, and you cook it for 10 minutes, and it's the same as in the supermarket. Very tasty. Italian clean. And just preparing sow in some potatoes that I've been sprouting for the last 3 weeks or so. So I've put in some potatoes in here, red potatoes. Anyway, thanks for mint. Thanks for coming with me for a walk through my veggie garden. More wood chips. Oh, I've got to show you something, because I had this mandarin growing in a wine barrel for the last 10 or 12 years. It's never produced any fruit, but I decided to dig a big pit and plant it in here. So the first time in 10 or 12 years it's showing signs that I will get fruit off of this for the first time. when I moved it, the tree from the wine barrel, I discovered there was a tap root. The bottom of the barrel was rotten, and I cut 8 inches, only left 8 inches of the tap root. The mandarin went into shock. This tree went in and it lost most of its leaves. So now it's just starting to revigorate leaves, and there's abundant number of flowers on here. So this has recovered very well. Did the transplant about 6 months ago during winter. So first time in 10 or 12 years I've had flowers, and looks like there will be fruit on here for the first time. Next year will be much better. Have opportunity to grow. The trees exhibiting growth. The bark is split. It's just jumped into life. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheery for now.